Welcome to the I'll Never Need to Coordinate Again stream, where I'm going to talk about a brand new tool, well, really a new tool to me that I've been using, which is Soundbase. And Soundbase is the most powerful coordination tool that I have ever used in production sound when it comes to helping me be most efficient on set. So today we are going to look at a project that I recently completed. And as you can see here, we've got a scan of Austin, Texas. Here is Chicago, Illinois, and then also LA. So we're going to be taking, or I'm going to be giving you a tour of Soundbase and how I use it. And most importantly, how it's been a powerful tool for me on set to not have to worry about coordinating when I get there, because we're so stacked. There's so many things to do: load in, battery changes, get ready to go. So if we can be coordinated in advance, it's a beautiful thing. So let's go ahead and get started right after this message, and we'll get this stream going. The key to a great sounding lob is 10% placement and 90% process.
Typically, I'll do a script breakdown on my iPad. Ingenuity and flexibility really are the keys here, because we have the same goal: capturing the performance.
It is this process here that inspired us to create Wire Like the Pros, a masterclass for students and professionals who have the desire to excel and go beyond just the wiring technique and tools.
Let's talk about working with the actors.
So I invite you to come over now and enroll into Wire Like the Pros at mwsound.net. So almost through my whole career, for years and years, I get to set, whether I'm loading in for like day one, whether it's a commercial or something like that, or it's narrative. And we arrive at a new location. And in the film industry and working on set, we're really unique in a way that we're having to deal with brand new RF circumstances for every brand new location. So, and that's one of the things that differentiates what we do, say, from a live production, whereas there might be more time or consistency as far as the location is concerned, as far as coordinating. But we're similar in a way as if it would be a production that's on tour, going from venue to venue. And I was introduced to Soundbase about, I want to say 3 years ago initially. I checked it out. I was like, okay, this is cool. Didn't really dig too much into it. But about a year ago, maybe a little less, I just took another look, and then kind of the light bulb went off on how this tool could be a very powerful prep tool for me when working on set. So the first thing I'm going to do here is share the screen and open up Soundbase. And then let's do this to start. Let's go ahead and close off here the session that we're working with. And then also, let me see if I can just go ahead and log out as if it was like brand new, my first time going to Soundbase here. So let's just go to the website, which is soundbase.app. And it's actually taking me to a login screen. But the first thing I want to share is that Soundbase is a free coordination application that uses a browser-based experience connected to the web that has a deeply integrated API workflow, which means that the best way to describe what an API is an API is like a waiter in a restaurant. So you're the client ordering the food, the waiter is the API, and then that waiter then delivers that order to the chef, and then the chef comes back and gives you this order. And the reason why that's powerful, and I'm going to go ahead and log on here, is because it allows us to get real-time information on very important things, such as TV broadcast bands. Also, the current scans that have been uploaded to the database, which we'll talk a little bit about in the stream. So what this software is it's a coordination tool. Now, Soundbase is independent from any manufacturer in a sense. It is not designed to work with just one type of transmitter or receiver from one specific manufacturer. So what that means is it's not a dedicated application for just Sennheiser projects, because Sennheiser is the owner of this company since it was recently acquired by them. But it's not just for their transmitters and receivers and ecosystems. So whether it is that you're on Lectrosonics, Wizzycom, Zaxcom, sound devices, and whatever type of wireless you're using on a film set, you're going to find everything you need to coordinate with this specific tool. So to start out, so you would basically download, or you don't even have to download. It's a browser-based app, so you can create a free account and use this. And this is the free version that I'm using right here. There is a pro version. I do have that, but that's going to go beyond the scope of this video. It opens up a few more possibilities for workflow. But for this one, it'll be just like you and I are on the same playing field as far as what we're able to do. So once you go to the Soundbase website, you can create a new coordination product or project. So let's go ahead and actually start from there. So before we do so, however, I want to open up an existing project. So recently I worked on a production that had 3 different locations that we were going to be working with. And those locations, as I said early in the video, are going to be Austin, Texas, also Chicago, Illinois, and then Los Angeles. And for this particular project, I was going to be working at a very fast pace as a single one-man band sound person with wireless on a talent in a very high-paced environment. So once I landed on set, I needed to be able to deploy and wire immediately. So that means that there is not the time to coordinate your wireless. Even if you have a system that auto coordinates and populates, that still takes time. So when I loaded into each one of these cities, what I did is I had Soundbase do all of the coordination for me in advance. And that's what you're looking at here on the screen. And I'm going to give you a tour of the interface at a very basic level, but I wanted to show you what a coordination looks like and work in the different sections. So the first thing I want to show you here is down in the left-hand corner is the plot. This is a scan that was imported into the program before I arrived to the location. And in fact, the location here I put would be LAX Airport. So by putting that there, I was able to find all of the TV data necessary in that area. So in blue is the television bands, in red is the public safety bands, because there are some public safety bands in LA going from 470 up into, that looks like here, 488 and 506 to 512. And then the next thing I did is I searched for a scan in the environment that already exists. So to do that here, we're not going to press upload. Let's go ahead and look here on the search field, and we can see all of the different scans that have been uploaded to Soundbase. So if you're working with a very specific area, like I just put in LAX, I can see the different scan data here that I can choose from and try to find something close to my location. So here is the type of device. I clicked on one of the scans and I can see the characteristics of the scan. Is it interior? Is it an exterior? Were there any active transmitters? And I can even rate this particular scan based upon the quality of the scan, as far as the dynamic range is concerned, the noise floor, etc. So once I found one that I was happy with, then I imported it here into the coordination. So let me actually do this for a moment and get rid of this lower bottom part so you can actually physically see what I'm doing here. So it looks like we lost connection. Let's go ahead and try to reconnect to the server and see what's going on right there. Oh, looks like we crashed. So let's try that again and see if we can't get on there. There we go. So this is browser based. So obviously it's going to be dependent on the servers themselves as far as it to operate is concerned. So let me see if I can get back into the server and see what happens here. And looks like it was just a temporary glitch, and we're back. And let me go back to where I was. There we go. Okay, so the plot here is the plot that I chose. Now, the markers are actually the different frequencies that I chose in the coordination as well. So this is kind of a broad view tour of the different areas. So this is the plot. This is the profile manager over here in this area. And this is where you're going to find, like I said earlier, every manufacturer. This is really where the rubber meets the road here, I think, with this program, because I'm not having to use, say, another coordination software that's dedicated to one specific type of wireless manufacturer. I have everything here on an equal playing field. And the inventory, which I'll show you in a new section here, is absolutely fantastic. So, for instance here, if I go to profile type, this is where I choose the wireless types for coordination. I can see, look at how many models are here just with Electrosonics. Let's go ahead and look at Zaxcom. You're going to find all of the current models for the Zaxcom. If we go to Shure, you'll certainly find all of the Axient and all of their different models listed here. And every single one, Wizicom, and then even Sound Devices, I believe, is another one we can look at, and all the different models. And then you can save them in your favorites. So Profile Manager is where you build your coordination by selecting the type of equipment that you're using. Then over here is your actually coordination window. And this is where we find all of our different groups. And if you notice here, I've got talent and plants, and I've got the name of the talent here. I've got camera hops and front of house mono mixes, since we were doing board feeds for this, handheld microphones. And then I even put alternate frequencies as frequencies I could use in case something was there on the day. And then I did this for each one of the locations in the same file, or what they'll call sites. So that's kind of like the big picture overview of this as far as like what it looks like to work on it. But let's spend the time that we have here building something that is going to be, let me get the back in here, something from the top or brand new, so you can kind of get a better look of like, how would I use this? Okay, that's great. You have all these tools, but there's a lot going on here. How do I actually do this? So the first thing we do is we're going to create a new session. So you're on the Soundbase app. You've created a user profile, and we're going to name the project. And we're going to just call this MW Sound, since we're doing a stream here from the studio at MW Sound. And then in the location, this is going to be very important for television data. Notice that I talked about it having an API interface. So this is kind of like using Google Maps to find a location. Anything I want to look up here is going to be available. And then on the project start, we're going to say it's going to start right now. So, just for argument's sake here, we're just going to say it's 1:15 p.m. and we're going to go until about 2 p.m. And now we have our location, our project name, our start time and end time, and now we're going to go ahead and press coordinate. And we should have a brand new fresh frequency. So if we were going to do a job here at this location in Avondale Estates, Georgia, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the TV channel data. Notice here, somewhere around the UHF, we start our frequencies around channel 14. Notice here that I can see the distance of these television transmitters from my current zip code, which is amazing because I know how close I am and I know the power level of that particular transmitter, because the first thing we're going to be working with is the 6 megahertz TV bands, any emergency bands, and I want to know where that stuff is so I can coordinate around them. Once I do that here, I can see in the coordination, if I go ahead and enlarge my plot here below, which is where my scan data is, or is going to be, these little blue icons show me that the ones that are illuminated are TV bands by zip code that have been determined active that we'll coordinate around. But before we even do that, let's actually look here in my area and let's choose one in the city. And I see there's a scan here from a tiny SA spectrum analyzer from 470 to 667, which covers the duplex gap, the guard band, and let's import that into our session. And then I can look here and I can see this plot data all the way across the scan or the plot coordinates, meaning the distance of the plot that I pre-selected. So I'm going to go ahead and press copy to project. And now, if I go back to the coordination, I can see I have my TV data inside of the plot. So if you were on the West Coast somewhere and you were going to work here, then you already have your scan, because 95% of the time, unless you're at a venue, such as like a music venue or some sort of large venue or sporting event, both of those are going to have RF coordinators that you're going to get your frequencies from. But if you're kind of an independent person having to operate and there's not going to be a lot around you, this is going to be the way that you'll be able to coordinate, because this is really what we're scanning for, is the TV data and public bands. So once we have that information in the plot, then we're going to go in to the profile manager and we're going to actually choose the type of transmitters that we have. So the first thing we're going to do is attempt to do that. And I'm going to scroll down here and notice that I've got favorites, all, default, custom. I've already programmed some favorites in here. So I've got Comtex, I've got Electrosonics transmitters and Sony transmitters already programmed as my favorites list. But let's not even do that. Let's just go to all. And let's say, just for fun, you're using Zaxcom equipment. So then we'll go to Zaxcom here, and the MRX 414 is their slot mount 4 channel that goes in the Nova 2 or the RX8. And then I'm going to choose the band, and I believe we'll go with the mono L band just for our experiment here. And notice that I've got 512 to 614. And then I can see here all this profile data about this particular transmitter, including the power, this says reference only, so we'll just leave this at 10. The step size, and this is all data provided as far as what this transmitter prefers as far as spacing is concerned, at least 400 megahertz. So let's say we need to add 8 of these transmitters to our coordination. Well, there's a couple ways we can do this here. The first way is we can simply choose a quantity and have it choose it. So something that I'm doing is I'll usually double that. So that way I have backup frequencies for every single channel. And I'm asking it to choose 16 frequencies based upon this plot data. Now, before we move into using these frequencies, I want to actually look at this TV data, and I'm actually going to disable the bands on the plot that look like they're low enough to coordinate wireless in. So I'm going to open up a couple more of those here based upon this threshold line of minus 85 dBm. So now let's go back and do that again. I should have done that first because I don't, but I'm going to go ahead and try a range here, and then I'm going to calculate the same. Now the range is just a range of as many as I could get, but for this one I'm actually going to go in and try doing the manual. Nope, that's not it. We're going to do quantity, and then we're going to go for 16. And notice here that I've got 16 coordinated channels, and these are all intermod free, and they're spaced correctly. And I can go in here, and then I can choose these very simply. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think this is 8. And then I'm going to add this to the selected group, and I'm going to call this talent primary. Oh, let's actually spell that right. We messed that up, or I messed that up. So next, I can actually come in and create a new group here that I'm going to call backup freaks. So if I show up to this particular location, let's just change the color here. I can have some backup options just in case. Let's try that one more time. There we go. Just in case I need to choose, like there was a random wireless like around me that I wasn't aware was going to be there. This is a nice backup option. So let me go back here and we'll go to quantity, and then let's just try 8, and it will choose 8 more frequencies here, and I'm just going to click them all. And notice on this I can actually see the noise figure or noise floor of each one of these selected transmitters, which are blinking here. So let's go ahead and add that there. And those are all intermod free and properly spaced from the primary frequencies as well. So the profile manager also allows me to add more stuff if I wanted to do. So let's go ahead and do that here. If I come in here to the profile manager, and let's say we want to add some sound devices, transmitters. And this time we're going to choose, let's say, the A20 Nexus in the US. And look, I've got all these bands here. It's incredible that all this information is already in here and ready to go. So let's say on the Nexus, you got to choose, I think it's like around 28 megahertz are the different bands. And I'm going to need to choose something that is going to be good with our plot. So I'm going to choose something around 506 to 511 here. And because if I choose something that's going to be near a TV band with such a narrow bandwidth of frequency options here on the Nexus, then it's going to tell me it can't find anything. So let's go ahead and find 8 of these. So we're going to go quantity, and we won't do backups this time just to keep things smooth. We're going to ask for 8 of those, see what we get. And here are 8 of the Nexus transmitters, and we'll call this Nexus talent TX. And then we'll add a group. Let's change the color just because I like cool colors. There we go. And it looks like since I added a new group here, that it actually took my calculation results away from me for some reason. Probably because I did something wrong. So let me try it one more time. The same thing. We're going to go to a quantity of 8 and calculate. And then it's going to give me, according to the noise floor, 8 options here. So we'll select them all. And then we're going to go add them here to my A20 Nexus talent. And I can add names too to each one of these transmitters. John, Terry, Larry, Mo, you get the picture here. So already I have coordinated 24 channels here of Zaxcom wireless and Sound Devices wireless based upon this location. And there's going to be other ways to do reporting and different things like that. So if I come in here and let's see what we can find, and I'm still learning this software, guys, but I've been making some headway with this, so I'm pretty excited about it. And what I'm looking for is I'm looking for the reporting feature. So let's see if we can figure that out and talk a little bit more about this software. So I think we're going to leave it alone because of the time, because I only have a limited amount of time on this. But the whole point was like introduce this actual very, very powerful software, because you can use it on your iPad or iOS device. You can use it on a browser. And I coordinated the 3 cities. I've done 2 stages here in Atlanta, and I've never had to move anything. And if I do have to move something, I got a backup frequency available, and it has been a huge, huge time saver. So that's kind of like a crude tour of Soundbase, and I encourage you to check it out, because I think if you're coordinating on set and you're scanning on set, that's old school, man. You're wasting time, especially with powerful software like this, because now I'm showing up and I'm just powering things up. I mean, and any step that I can save and prep is going to be very, very helpful. And this tool, it's funny, I want to sing its high praises, because the software is not known in the production sound community. The live world, they have like taken this by storm, but in production sound, we're just kind of in the old school, like, oh, we're going to use this software, we're going to scan, we're going to do whatever. You don't need to do any of that. This can do it in advance. And the other thing is that there are future hardware integrations coming with the manufacturer as far as what we're going to be able to control our hardware. I can't get into specifics of that because I don't know if that information is like public or not, but just know that there are things coming as far as that's concerned. So I think that's enough as far as the amount of time I have today, guys. I'm going to keep this as like the intro video, but subscribe and hit the notifications bell, because I'm going to actually start posting a playlist on just Soundbase and start working through more in detail features that wouldn't be able to be covered in an overview video like this. So hope everyone's well. I hope you find this helpful. I know it has been huge for me. I mean, an absolute game changer. And I'll look forward to seeing everyone out there. And I think, let's see here if there's anything else. Nope. And we'll look forward to seeing everyone. We got one question. I only have a minute, but I'm going to answer this here. Do you know what SB means when they say activate up to 5 devices on their plan? So they mean TX or RX? Yeah, Andres, I'm not sure on that particular question, but stay tuned on future videos on this, and I'll look forward to seeing everyone real soon.